Hi, I'm Joe Soleil with Federal National Commercial Credit. Welcome to our video series, Factoring Costs, the 10 most misunderstood cost drivers. This video today is about the turn and time functions in fees and how they affect your costs in a factoring or asset-based lending relationship. We have this notion of a 30-day function throughout industry. Mostly it's because most of us in our businesses have 30-day payment terms to our clients. But the truth is, in today's business, in the marketplace today, very few of our customers actually pay us in 30 days. In fact, it's really rarely been in the past that clients pay in exactly 30 days. Most take some liberty, and with the economy being as it has been, many are taking greater liberties with the length of time they take to pay, and the marketplace just doesn't allow us to force them into a 30-day cycle. We're afraid of losing them as customers. So even though we have this 30-day notion, we have net 30 terms to our customers, it is rare that we're paid in 30 days. But there's a convention in the factoring industry to quote fees on a 30-day basis. You know, there's some legitimacy in that the terms are indeed net 30. But given that most of us don't experience a 30-day turn, that 30-day quote may not mean very much to us. And it's important to understand how, as your turn varies on your accounts receivable, how that's going to affect the cost of your financing. So the 30-day quote can be misleading because we've already talked about the fact that most invoices don't really pay in 30 days. So if you quote in terms of 30 days and your invoices don't pay in 30 days, it becomes very important to know what your fees will become if you're paid in less than 30 days or you're paid in more than 30 days. Let's talk about some of the different structures of fees and how they may behave across time. Possibly the oldest fee structure in factoring is a flat fee or a discount. The amount of your invoice is discounted by a percentage, and they pay you that discounted percentage and they own the AR from then on. That's a fairly old fee structure. It's not found very often anymore today. But let's talk about how that works. If you do find a flat fee out there, let's say a fee of 5% of your invoice amount, that is truly a flat fee means that it does not increase no matter how long your invoice is outstanding. If the invoice is outstanding 10 days, the fee is 5%. If your invoice is outstanding 60 days, the fee is 5%. That's a flat fee. It doesn't change. But the interesting thing about a flat fee is the rate that you are paying on an annualized basis actually goes down the longer your invoices are outstanding. Let's look at an example here. So we're talking about a flat fee of 5%. Let's say this is a $100,000 invoice and our flat fee of 5% equals $5,000. If our invoice turn is 15 days, well, that means that we have an annualized percentage of 120%. If our invoice turn is 30 days, that annualized percentage goes down to 60. If it's 45 days, 40%. If it's 60 days, 30%. You get the idea. The rate, the annualized rate, goes down the more mileage you get out of that 5% flat fee. It just makes sense. But I did mention that these are pretty rare in the marketplace today, and when you do find them, you do find that they're pretty high. They're going to be high because the factor's taking a fair amount of risk in there. Their return starts going down over time, so if it takes a long time for that item to pay, they're going to make less money. Consequently, you'll find that most flat fees are pretty high. Let's talk about a different kind of fee structure common in the market today. It's kind of a periodic fee structure. This is where your fee is quoted for a period, say every 30 days, or every 15 days, or every 10 days. 30 is probably the most common, but you'll often find language in a fee structure like that that says for every 30 days or any part thereof, which means that if it's out for 5 days in the period, you pay the full 30 days worth. If it's out for 30 days in the period, you pay 30 days worth. So the problem with this fee structure is it's really going to depend for each and every invoice where that invoice turn pays vis-a-vis the period structure. Let's take an example. Again, it's most commonly found on a 30-day structure, so let's look at an example of a 30-day turn. So we're looking at this example of a periodic fee structure for every 30 days, or any part thereof. Again, let's use a $100,000 invoice just for simplicity's sake. If we have an invoice turn of 15 days, a 2% for 30 days fee is going to produce fees of $2,000. If your invoice turn is 15 days, you're only using half of that 30-day period, but you're paying for the full 30-day fee. That produces an annual rate of 48%. On the other hand, if you have that precise 30-day turn, that elusive 30-day turn, in that case, you're still going to pay the same $2,000 fee amount, only this time you'll be using that whole 30-day period. And as a consequence, your annualized rate drops to 24%. But look what happens here on the 31st day. You go one day beyond 30 in when that invoice pays, and bingo, back up to 48% again. You hold till, if it takes 60 days to pay and you pay right on that 60th day, well, the rate falls back down to 24%. But let's think about when our invoices really do pay. On average, when do your customers pay you? Do they pay you right in 30 days? No, they don't. Do they pay you in 60 days? No, most don't. Most are going to pay you in 45 or 40 or 35. So what that means is you're almost sure to pay something between 24% in this example and 48% in this example, just depending on what your turn is. There's one other daily rate that you might see occasionally. Sometimes people will quote just a flat daily rate. It's not really a flat fee because it's not just charged once, it's charged every day that the fee is effective. But it's just quoted as a number. It might be 0.02% per day or 0.05% per day. That would be just a daily rate. With both of these daily rates, the turn and time function becomes much, much less important. If that's the way the fees are charged, you're not going to have the same concerns that you would with a flat fee or with a periodic fee structure. Daily rate's a daily rate. How long it takes your invoice to pay isn't going to make much difference. In a proposal for factoring or asset-based lending services, you're normally going to find more than one of these fees that we've been through here today. You may even find some fees that are a hybrid of each other. In fact, my company, Federal National Commercial Credit, has a fee that is really a hybrid of a periodic fee and a daily rate. It's a fee for the first 30 days or any part thereof, but then after 30 days, that fee reverts to a daily rate. The reasons for that are that we need that periodic rate for the first 30-day period because we want to be sure that We cover the costs of handling an invoice transaction. There are certain fixed costs associated with that. We want to be sure we cover those costs. But then we want to revert to a daily rate after 30 days because most people's invoices are going to pay in a sort of 30 to 45 day span, and we don't want to unduly penalize a borrower if they pay in 31 or 32. So in conclusion, there are usually more than one type of fee in a factoring or asset-based lending proposal. It's important that you know the mechanics of those fees and how they're going to work, because the turn that you have in your accounts receivable may cause important swings in the actual cost to you. Bring in your trusted advisors, your accountant, your banker, your lawyer. Get them to help you sort this out. It's going to be a little bit complicated, and it'll be good to have other heads on it. Also consider asking the proposing factor or asset-based lender to model out those fees for you and show what sort of cost would result if your turn was 15 days, 25 days, 30 days, 31 days, 35 days, 45 days, so that you can actually, in dollars and cents, see what you would pay at those different turns. Because some of your invoices are going to pay quickly and some may take a longer time to pay. This has been the third video in our series, Factoring Costs, the 10 most misunderstood cost drivers. Thanks for watching. Watch for our next video, which will be about advance percentages and the way they influence factoring costs. I'm Joe Saleh with Federal National Commercial Credit. Thank you.